Welcome to the Third Chair, a show about real people, real stories, real life. And here are your hosts for the Third Chair, Peter Grigg and Doug Bazeski.
So, tonight, we have another female entrepreneur on.
That's great. I'd like to see that.
And if I understand her bio right, she's a military vet. And
another great
she's
thing.
working on a book.
Oh, right.
She works in the financial services industry. So I'm really excited to have my friend and someone I know from Toastmasters on.
Oh,
Kim Welton.
Speaker.
Toastmasters, yes. Yes, which means she will answer the questions with great passion and probably at great length.
Sounds good to me.
Please welcome Kim Welton. We're here tonight with our special guest, Kim Welton, being beamed in from Arizona. Kim, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we are so excited to have you. Of course, I know you from Colorado Springs. We were in the same Toastmasters club, and you were the president after I was the president. You did a fantastic job during COVID shutdown, which was an incredibly hard time. But boy, you sure showed your ability to adapt, improvise, and overcome, as Clint Eastwood would say in Heartbreak Ridge. So, got a couple questions for you. I'm here with co-host Doug. Our first one, I looked on your Instagram, official Ladypreneur 100. Okay, that is a really interesting title for social media. What's the story of that?
The Ladypreneur 100 Club, I actually had a radio show a few years ago on Success Radio, and it was for another organization. It was 3 ladies, it was me and other ladies, and it was a show called Empowering Eve. And it was really, we were interviewing a bunch of women, a bunch of entrepreneurs, people from all walks of life. And I was I was interviewing one of the ladies, and she was talking about all of these things that she had been doing. And I said, well, you're a regular ladypreneur. And it just dawned on me, that's a cool name. That's something that I could probably run with. And so when we dissolved Empowering Eve, my producer said, I'd really like to have a show with you on there. And I thought, I have the perfect name. So Ladypreneur, as I found, some other people use that name. It's not trademarked, but I thought I could use that name and call it 100 because it's where we keep it real. I could be very real with people on this radio show and get them to open up. And so that's where that Ladypreneur 100 comes. It's basically women entrepreneurs who build each other up, support one another, and keep it real.
Did you, with that show, did you have like people from all parts of the entrepreneur journey, from people just sort of interested, wondering what is entrepreneurship through more established businesses?
Absolutely. I had a lot of women who were trying to get more coaching when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's not taught in school. It's more, being an entrepreneur, I think, is more of a calling. I think that there are a lot of people who are really good at something and think, well, I can go start my business doing that thing. And it's not really the way it's supposed to work. An entrepreneur isn't just a business person. They're a person who should be solving a problem, helping a certain client base, serving a certain purpose. And so women would come in and say, I've had all of these ideas, but it's just not panning out. What are some things that have helped you out? So we could take this time on the radio show and talk about certain things that have worked, things that haven't. I had my husband on the show at one point. He was talking about getting your money right, doing things, for your own personal finances. And I really had the opportunity to interview some great people local to the area who had proven success as well. So it was a great show. It was a lot of fun.
Now, so I'm gathering from listening to your response that you're probably a big believer in the whole idea of coaching and mentoring?
It's a huge part of my daily work. As I'll get into my past here in just a bit, but if you can coach somebody, if you can help somebody, if you can work with somebody to help them achieve their goals, that's a gift. And there was a point in my career where I really needed that.
Mm-hmm.
I needed somebody to step in and show me how to get to the next level. Once somebody has done that for you, you really have to, or you should, do it for somebody else. Help somebody else. Maybe they're struggling in an area that I never struggled in. And you'll find something, Peter. You'll sometimes meet with these people who are coming to you for help, and you end up learning more from them. So
Sure.
really, coaching goes both ways. You just have to be open to receiving it.
I'm of the personal philosophy that if you're going to be a coach, it's good to be coached by somebody as well as coach somebody else. And I definitely agree with what you said. When you're coaching and mentoring, sometimes a problem comes up and it makes you do the research and really think about it to help find a solution, and it does help
Right.
you.
Absolutely.
The I also noticed on your Instagram you put yourself down as a recruiter headhunter. Is that for Prime America or is that for something else?
That is for Primerica. It is basically my job in our business, my husband and my business. I am the marketer, the prospector, the business developer. I'm out there identifying a market that we can help. And I will, in the process, talk to countless people and see if perhaps they're a good fit for our organization. And we do an interview with people. It is somewhat of a headhunter type process. Not everybody is going to be a good fit for us.
Of
We
course.
do have a 3-part process to interview to make sure that people are going to be, it's a reflection of us, so they have to be a good fit. They also have to pass a background check. So
Uh-huh.
there's a large, it's kind of like a blanket where I can say, I can't hire you because you're a 1099, but let's sit down and let me show you what we do and see if there's a mutual interest.
Yeah, I mean, you sound almost closer to like a professional sports scout.
Yes.
Yeah, where you're scouting out talent to see who might work.
That is exactly what I'm doing. I am looking for talent. Most of the time, I'm going to meet somebody, see somebody. They don't even see what I see in them. They're thinking, I've never done that, or my own money is messed up, or I don't have a college degree. But they have some gift that I can really help them build something great here. You can measure so many things in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can measure your intelligence. You can measure your weight. You can measure, just about anything. But you cannot measure a person's heart. You cannot measure, what they're out to do to serve the world. But when we see that little spark in somebody, to me, that's where I say, let's lock arms. Give me 90 days. Let's do something. It will pan out. If it's not for you after 90 days, then so be it. At least you learned a lot about money and about yourself. So I am looking for talent.
Yeah,
Is this just for the brokerage jobs, or do you have other jobs
Yes.
in your?
This is my brokerage.
yeah. But it's got to be scary for people because I mean, from my point of view, I see sort of the school systems indoctrinating people that socialism is good and the idea of going out and building a business as being, not just inappropriate, but almost evil. And so, do you ever find like you're fighting against the stream of what a lot of people believe kind of coming in?
We do live in a society where people feel that they should be given simply because they exist. And it's troubling to me that this participation award generation has really been given things so easily. I didn't grow up with money. I grew up in LA with a single mom, and we just did not have an abundance of money or extra, or didn't live in a nice home or drive a nice car. But I had an abundance of love, and I had a mom who taught discipline and to earn things and to have a great work ethic. I do see a lot of society with our instant gratification. They want everything immediately. There's social media. There's, I want because I'm here. I deserve because I exist. That is kind of again, a blanket statement. What I find when I sit down with our millennial generation is that so many of them are so hungry to give to the community, and they just simply don't really understand what socialism means. But when you can sit and have a dialogue and really peel away the layers of what is generating those thoughts, they don't really think, or they don't really believe in socialism. What
Yeah.
they want to do, what they have a heart to do, and this is a term that we kind of coined, is they want to own a business serving others. Venture philanthropy, really. If I can own a business that helps society and helps community, I'm down for that. And a lot of times, Peter, they're not even looking to make a lot of money. It's more about servitude. So that is a very refreshing, thing when I'm sitting across the table from a 22-year-old interviewing him or her.
Wow. Yeah, that's
We'll
good.
discuss this issue more after our break.
All right, we'll be right back. I can't believe that we've hit 40 episodes.
Yes, I knew it because I knew it was a number between 39 and 41.
Ah, yeah, you auditors are always the same. Yeah, that's quite an exciting achievement for the company. We've been putting one up a week since, I guess, around March.
And now we've even expanded. We got two guests on location, and then we talked to a lady in Los Angeles live.
Yeah, so the kinds of places we went, Twin Lakes, where we did the Amy and Colorado Tight Flies episode.
And she did fly fishing. I mean, we
She
filmed
did, yeah, I
that.
ran for cover. And we managed to get that episode in like right before a major storm hit. It was amazing.
And we went to a barber shop, and you ran for cover again when the scissors came out.
I ran for cover, yeah.
Or you
there's-
either ran to that or the gum
Yeah,
machine.
I couldn't believe I couldn't get a gumball that night.
Yeah.
But that was just a riot filming on location, but a little extra work carrying the equipment around.
a little extra work, but I think it's worth it.
I think so too.
All the three of those episodes are great.
I think that that's one of the things for the future. We're very excited about contacting people that may be out of town or in town that work at an interesting location that wouldn't be mind filmed on location, as long as you have a story to tell.
And everybody has a story to tell.
I think you're so right. So please follow us on social media, and let's get back to our episode. Welcome back to the Third Chair. I'm your co-host Peter, and this is Doug, and we're here with Kim Welton from the Welton Financial Group and a friend who is being beamed in from Arizona. Kim, thank you for being back with us. So at the break, we're talking about the whole idea that you've seen some young people apply for work at your company that seem to be very interested in helping people. Is this? Have you seen a difference between like the young 20s and say someone who's 40 or 50 that joins your group?
Not necessarily. It really does depend on the individuals. I do focus, as far as the recruiting piece into our business, I do focus on the age group of 22 to 35. That's really a great place. There's longevity there. There's excitement. They're not overthinking anything. They're still open to being coached and mentored. So that really is a great group for us to talk to. But the most important part about that group is we have just entered, there's a phenomenon called the Great Wealth Transfer.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term, but baby boomers are now passing their money to younger generations. That generation is going to be managing that money, and it's already underway. So this industry, which is the financial services industry, in the next 2 years is going to be short of 22,000 licensed agents.
Wow.
So because there's this exodus happening, I want to make sure that we're bringing in, again, younger people who will be in the industry long enough to manage that money for the next generations. Again, because of their personal philosophies and wanting to help people, it's a great fit for us. It really is a great fit for us. Again, some of them do want to become wealthy, and their whole philosophy behind that is the more I have, the more I can give.
Yeah.
And some of them are just servant leaders, and some of them are both, which is a really great combination for us.
You know, I've had a number of really bad experiences with kind of financial advisors that looking back, they were giving me advice that was clearly meant to line their pockets rather than what was best for me at the age. Uh, I know I've heard you say something about it before, but is there some unscrupulous kind of dealings that go on in this field?
It is the most corrupt industry in the world.
Wow.
It is an industry that aims to, unfortunately, take advantage of people. And there is a lot that happens in this industry that sickens me.
Hmm.
And so I did not come here I didn't think I was ever going to be in this industry. I never grew up saying this was something that I was going to do. But a personal experience that happened to me was really the impetus for me to take a look at this particular company. Several years ago, I went through a divorce. In that divorce, there was a lot of money that was missing from a business I had back then, which was a real estate investment business. I owned 9 homes. I owned these homes to house single moms getting back on their feet and really wanted to do something great. Money was missing. $250,000 was missing from that business. So in the process of getting divorced, trying to figure things out, I was an executive at Homeland Security with a security clearance, and now I'm going to possibly lose my job. I had nothing to show for it. I didn't know where the money went. I didn't live in a lavish home or drive a fancy car. And so I went to a company that I saw on TV. And I went to this company and I said, you guys help people with your money. Here's all my stuff. I'd love to sit down with you if you could tell me what to do. Well, this gentleman sat back in his chair and he said, I just need to understand, you're not here to invest $10,000 today. Minimum of $10,000. And I said, no, sir, I'm in a bind. When I get back on my feet, I could certainly talk about investing. And he said, so what are you here for? I said, here's where I'm at. Gave him all the details. I saw your commercial. I know you guys help people in this situation. What can you do to help me? And he closed his binder and he motioned for me to stand up. And I thought he was walking me to another office in his office. But Peter, he walked me outside. And he said, when you get some money that you can invest, come and see me. And he gave me his card. And that made me, I was already in a dark place. I was upset. I was hurt. And I thought, this cannot happen to people. This is not the way it's supposed to happen.
Hmm.
People work hard for their money. People do whatever they can to get by. Nobody needs to be treated that way, to be walked out like a vagrant who was there to use the bathroom. I was mortified. And so I got back on my feet and everything was great. When I decided that this was the industry for my husband and I, a good friend talked to us and said, you ever thought about owning your business? Let me talk to you about working with us. I asked him specifically what he would do in that situation, and his response was golden. And I said, I am out to help people. My whole purpose in life is to give. I'm not money motivated. I'm purpose driven. And if you tell me that I can serve people in this company, helping them out of a place that I was at, sign me up. I'm going to do it. And now we'll look for other people. So is it an ugly industry? Absolutely. I don't think of myself as an insurance agent. I think of myself as your insurance agent's worst enemy, because I'm going to let people know, I'm going to expose the bad things that happen.
Is it because maybe some people come in thinking, hey, this guy's going to get me rich, and they fall for that easily when actually it isn't a get rich. I mean, even the stock market is not a get rich. You hear stories about, yeah, I bought Amazon when it started, and it was at $2, and now these people are rich. But that, I mean, those are very exceptional. I mean, you gotta be in the market for the long run, and that's what hurts a lot of people is they think they're gonna be rich and they go along with it, and it's not a get rich quick area.
If it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true when it comes to your money.
And some smart people have been fooled because Bernie
Madoff
he fooled people for
forever.
forever.
You know, well, and part of the problem is like you see is like there are things that are possible to do that occasionally happen, and then there are what's more likely, probable, and predictable that happens in life, and we get fooled by the possible spectacular. You know, I was looking at a YouTube video that said make $190 million in 4 hours. I said, like, that's a great clickbait title. You know, I actually didn't watch it, but I saw the video. And I was thinking, yeah, like, that would be pretty rare. It's probably possible that somebody somewhere could do it. You know, Mahoney's the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. At 24, he signed a $450 million deal over 10 years with a $10 million signing bonus. And so he could make a movie on, yeah, I made $1 million in 2 minutes or that sort of thing. But it's just rare. And
but he's even rare for the NFL because
he's rare for the NFL
because he's the best player.
Yeah, one of the best players. Jennifer Lawrence in the second Hunger Games movie that took 4 months to film. That was it. She got paid $10 million for 4 months of acting. Of course, you know, she helped the movie bring in $1 billion. But you know, yeah, those stories happen, but it's just not what's likely to happen.
No, and who's taking care of the backbone of our country? That's my market. You know, my market are the single moms, are the guys who are behind the counter at McDonald's, our teachers, our police officers, our firefighters, who, you know, my market isn't to help the wealthy get wealthier. My market is helping the middle income families, Main Street America, like myself, make their money work for them. And they don't know how to do it because it's not being taught in school. Mm-hmm. And so we're on a mission to bring financial education and revolutionize the financial services industry one household at a time. So as you can imagine, I need an army of people to do that.
A big army.
But you build slow. I mean, you start with 2 people, and then like in a few months, I mean, at the end of the year, you probably have 30 people, but at the end of the 2 years, you might have about 100 people, and I mean,
we have hundreds of agents, yes.
So, and then I mean, you could multiply that to 1,000 pretty easily, right?
Yes.
I mean,
we have in our company alone 132,000 licensed representatives.
Wow, that's impressive. Well, Kim, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you the question. You've listed U.S. Army veteran on your Instagram with the quote, "Success never goes out of style." We'll talk about that when we come right back.
Coffee of the Kentucky-Arizona Walnut Association?
It's kava.
The national coffee of
Kawasaki, Japan? It's kava. Hiya!
Is it the secret elixir of the surfers in Hawaii?
Or is it the secret island recipe of Kona, Koala, Kauai, or Cola?
It's kava.
Kava is Polish for coffee, and here at Kava Coffee, we focus on serving a delicious, high-quality cup of coffee in a space where love, coffee, and people mix into the perfect blend.
We value our relationships with our customers and our roasters. Buy locally whenever possible and truly have the homemade touch. Our pastries, syrups, and even our almond milk are made in-house.
So come on in, relax, get some work done. Enjoy the Kava community, some encouraging words from the Kava Coffee gang.
Kava Coffee.
Be awake.
Welcome back to the third chair. I'm Peter, and this is Doug, your co-host, and we have our special guest, Kim Welton from Arizona. So, Kim, I see on your Instagram that you work with a guy named Tom Welton, and I'm assuming from what you've told us that's your husband. Now, I know I could not work with my wife in the same business. It would just not work out. How is that working for you two?
It's wonderful. We met at work. So we've been working together for, a long time now. We have always worked well together. And I think one of the main reasons we started a company together was to build our goals together. I know a lot of moms and dads work outside of the house and separately in different places. And what I saw was that mom would go to work and have her goals, her professional goals. Dad would go to work and have his professional goals, and they were growing separately. Mm-hmm. So in our business, what we really enjoy is growing together and having a common goal and building something that our children will inherit. They're watching us build our business, where they watch us in a strong relationship. And I think that's one of the blessings of working with my husband. One, he's brilliant. And he's a coach to me. He teaches me every day. He teaches our children. He's teaching several of our agents. And so I get to learn from my own husband. Not only is he the spiritual leader in our home, he's the leader of our business. And I get to complement that. And we complement each other pretty well.
That's fantastic. Now, you just used a buzzword that I got to comment on. Leaving it in your inheritance to your children. Okay, that could be considered like a fire for discussion. You know, kids being ruined by large fortunes left to them, et cetera, et cetera. So what's your sort of position on that?
Our business, because it's our business, if anything, God forbid, were to happen to Tom or I prematurely, our children would inherit our business. So they are licensed. Our three oldest are licensed in our business, and so this business would continue to provide for them for as long as they choose it to. They could run the business, they can run the firm, or they could sell it and profit that way. But our ultimate goal is to build a legacy 6 to 7 generations deep. Nice. And so this money that we've created in this business, we would love for generation after generation to benefit from the hard work that we're doing today.
That's great. And that certainly sounds a little different than like just leaving a big trust fund for people to go out and buy a new Ferrari and to play. That sort
No
of thing.
blank checks.
No blank checks. All right, Doug is going to ask you a few questions.
Yes.
Okay, so Peter talked to you about being a president of Toastmasters. Have you intentionally worked on becoming a leader?
You know, that's such a good question, Doug. Yes, I was active duty Army. And of course, I felt, even as a young child, I felt that I had some natural leadership ability as an athlete, as in the military. I felt I was very, not eager, but taking charge was natural for me. I could make a decision. I was decisive. I could help other people. I would always want to make sure that people got what they deserved or needed or wanted. So in Toastmasters, because our business does require us to speak publicly regularly, I joined Toastmasters to really help with my speaking ability, my communication skills, making sure that inflection is used, clarity, timing, pausing, etc. So if you're not a strong speaker and you're on stage, nobody's listening to the message. They're focusing on all of the bad stuff. So we got to eliminate that stuff, the fidgeting and the pauses and the what have you. So,
so Peter, he came in and hardly said a word at Toastmasters. Isn't that correct?
Never spoke a word.
Never
Quietest
shut
guy
up.
in the room.
Yeah.
So do you still do a lot of public speaking and presentations?
I do a lot of Zoom presentations. That's since COVID, we have run our business mostly virtual. I have a brick and mortar office in Colorado Springs that we used, but with COVID, it really opened up an opportunity for us to meet with our clients virtually to protect them and their health. So in-person speaking is pretty regular for me, but also behind a screen on Zoom, it's pretty regular occurrence.
About how many people do you have at these meetings?
It depends. This morning I didn't speak, but any given meeting, it could be 30 people, it could be 500 people. I think in person it was about 2,500 people at one point. It just depends on the audience and whatever message that we're supposed to be sending.
I mean, when you had 2,500 people on Zoom, I suppose a lot of them were supposed to be turned their the mutes on.
If we have a big group, they're muted. The in-person ones were bigger. The in-person were actually when we had to be in front of people, which is a little nerve-wracking for me.
So what was the kind of meeting was the like in-person where you said how many again?
3,500.
2,500.
Yeah. That's the biggest group I think we've ever spoken to. We were on PFN TV, which is a Primerica network. Our company has its own network. So on that, we got to speak in front of a camera on a stage with a live audience. That was a big group as well. It was in person. The message, they always want, sometimes they'll tell us what to say, not tell us what to say, but they'll tell us what topic to discuss. So I think with that one, we were just telling our story, why we were in the company, why we really embraced the company.
And do you have a question and answer session?
Not in that event. In some Zoom events, we will do a Q&A.
Okay.
So is it like an Amway meeting where it's as much kind of emotional, rah, 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 get out and do it, team, we can do this. We're going to recognize now the people that sold $1 million worth of insurance, that sort of thing. How much of you're talking is that sort of a thing?
We do celebrate people's accomplishments. If they have sold a certain number of life insurance or investments, that means that they have impacted lives in the community. So we always want to celebrate that. So Amway is a self-improvement company, and their whole thing is internal consumption. So to be the best version of yourself, they have all these products that you can purchase and then perhaps offer to friends and family. But internal consumption is really their bailiwick, right? With Primerica, our job is, number one, protect ourselves. Got to have the proper life insurance. You buy term and invest the difference. You have to be a client first, but then you do want to take care of your friends and family. So making sure that your friends and family are a priority and you take care of them first, and not being scared to talk to them, making sure that if something were to happen to you, I want to make sure that your kids and spouse are okay. That could be a difficult conversation for some people. And they can say, oh gosh, I don't want to sell to friends and family. But when we break it down and say, what would happen? How would you feel if something tragic did happen to them and you didn't have the courage to talk to them? So when they do that, when they get out in the community and they talk to friends and family and they are protecting them and making sure they're okay, we do celebrate that. Everything that we do is about positivity, self-improvement, being kind, being generous, and helping other people. The money and income is simply a byproduct of doing the right thing over and over and over. So we rarely celebrate income accomplishments. They do if they get really big. But really what we're celebrating is getting out and fighting for the people that you love the most.
Well, and that's appropriate. I don't think any of us should say, oh, we can't talk about money that we've earned. Everyone's got to pay their bills,
Absolutely.
So I'm curious because I worked for the Army. What did you do in the Army?
Military intelligence.
Oh, okay. So do you speak another language?
I had to at one point. There was a mission that required me to understand several dialects of Spanish, but I'm not fluent.
Oh, okay. So
I did just enough.
You didn't go to the language schools in Monterey?
No, I went. There's an agency in Maryland that I was able to partner with.
All right. Well, we'll be back after this message.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Grigg, a life and recovery coach with Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching. I've had the pleasure and privilege of helping people for over 25 years. I want to hear your story, support and encourage you while we partner together to help you reach your goals. I can help you. I am certain I can help you. I can be your guide, role model, resource person, and help you get results. What's my coaching frameworks? I'm an eclectic coach drawing from a variety of disciplines and frameworks with evidence-based proven methods. What would you like to work on? Some popular areas are goal setting and attainment, building and maintaining motivation, finding purpose, personal development, recovery from drug and alcohol addiction problems, health and wellness, life planning, athletic and creative artist performance enhancement, maybe something else. Just ask me. I would love to help you. You can find my services on Fiverr.com. Welcome back to the third chair. I'm Peter. This is Doug, your co-host, and we are welcoming back Kim Welton of the Welton Financial Group, who is an entrepreneur and a financial advisor. And Kim, thank you for coming back all the way from Arizona.
Thank you.
So we're going to pick up the discussion. I've looked at a couple of short videos on that were linked to your Instagram, and I thought they were very, very fascinating. Under sort of the idea of how money works, kind of a topic. One of them was the idea of buy term life insurance and invest the rest. Now, I just want to disclose, man, I've had people pushing whole life hard, and they'll say, oh, there's a little bit of an investment component and a bunch of crappy whatever's related to the company. And I've never liked that idea. It seems expensive with few options. So why do you guys embrace the idea of term insurance and investing the rest?
Well, our founder, Art Williams, started a company called A.L. Williams. And it was because his father passed away prematurely at a very young age. And a gentleman, and I use the term loosely, sold a whole life policy to Art Williams' father and mother. When his dad passed away, it was obvious how underinsured they were, obscenely underinsured. So because they could not properly replace the income that Mr. Williams had provided, they suffered financially for that. And so Art Williams started this crusade of this cannot be happening anymore. When you sell a whole life product, it's typically, as you mentioned, very expensive. They tell you that you're going to get two things, right? An investment and life or income protection. But realistically, you only get one of those two products. So you're paying for two things and you get one option. So if there was any money in the savings portion, it is put in this savings option at a very low rate of return. And if you want that money, you have to borrow the money and pay it back with interest. So if you pass away and your spouse or beneficiaries need the face amount from the life insurance portion, you forfeit any savings that was in that policy. Agents who sell this do not have to tell their clients. I actually have a client who I'm dealing with this with right now. It is tragic. Agents make a lot of money selling these products. They get what's called residual income off of life insurance every time they sell it for each client. And they typically do it because they don't hold the proper investment licenses to do right by the client. So when you buy term, that term is pure, straight level insurance that is going to protect your income. Remember, life insurance is if you die too soon. Investments are if you live too long. Putting them in the same vehicle would be tragic because you can't die too soon and live too long at the same time.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to move down my list of the videos I watched. One of them talked about you got to start saving and investing young, like 24, 25, even if it's just a couple $100 a month.
Yes. That's a great, people really should start saving as young as possible. It's a habit. Paying yourself first, making sure that you invest in yourself first. It's a habit. Just like a health habit, just like a spiritual habit, a self-improvement habit, you should be paying yourself first. You work hard for your money, and most people do. The earlier you start saving, the money's going to start working for you, right? Most people work about 40 years, and then they spend this brief little time in retirement trying to live it up. Well, they're older, their health isn't as good, they're trying to do as much later on in life. If we start investing younger, people could retire sooner from a job. Now they're getting that income from their investments. That's what I would like to see. I would really like to see people starting to save and invest at a younger age.
It seems like it doesn't take that much of a lifestyle change to free up money. A couple of less lattes at Starbucks, a bag lunch once or twice a week instead of going to the nearest restaurant, and you've got a couple $100 to invest.
The trick is that it can't hurt. If it hurts, they won't do it, right? Just like a crash diet. It's cool for a few days. After about a week, we're not doing it because it hurts too much. So we need to simplify things and really teach people how to put money in a vehicle that's going to grow for them, that it's not so easy to get to, but get disciplined in having that money come out. I have told clients, if you get a raise, put that extra raise into something that'll grow for you. You've already been living without it. People make more and then they spend more. It's a bad habit. Where if you just live on what you've already been living on and invest the extra income, that's going to help you out.
Well, one of the things I've noticed is that, like for a guy like me, it's like not buying as many lattes But for millennials, one of the things I notice they do is they like sign up for all these apps that cost money. And so they've got all this social media or electronic programs or software where they're paying a whole bunch a month, and there's no way they can get to it all. But it's like, hey, yeah, I got the latest app that's really cool to bowl while I drive or something.
Yes, an automatic pack. If we could just put that right into put their money, they don't see it, they can't spend it, lock it up, then they'll be fine. I recommend 10% of everything that you make.
Wow.
It's something you do is you take the money, you have a program that helps them take the money out so they never really see it.
It's a pre-authorized checking is the simplest thing that we can do. It's called a PAC. It's pretty standard. And you put that into, an investment. You can also do a money market for money that you may need in an emergency fund. That's a simpler way as well. People are putting their money in a savings account, which to me is tragic because your money is really not going to grow. A bank is going to offer you 2%.
Wow, that's a good.
But they're going to give you a credit card.
That's a good
right?
bank.
And I'm being generous.
Yeah.
I'm being generous. They'll give you, but they will offer you a credit card for 18 to 24%.
Oh wow.
So if we put it in another vehicle that's actually going to grow for you, that's a little bit better option.
Well, there was a book, The Automatic Millionaire. I don't know if you remember seeing that. That was the whole premise of a big thick book is have some money automatically be put into mutual funds or whatever, so you don't see it and it's done. It's amazing. Yeah. The guy had a great big $30 book based on one idea.
Actually, there's one thing I remember when I was younger. If you start at 23 and you invest till 30, you make as much as somebody starting at 30 and investing till 60.
That's absolutely right.
Because you get the advantage of compound interest.
Yeah, the compound interest.
Which brings us to the final rule for this segment.
Not saying you should quit at 30 investing.
No.
The rule of 72. 72 divided by the interest rate gives you the number of years until your money doubles.
Yes.
Do you tell people about that one?
We absolutely do. A huge part of what we do in our company as a whole is educate families. So the rule of 72 is also called the banker's rule. So remember that banks are in the business of making money for banks. So the banks take your money, invest it into the global economy. They give you what they feel you deserve, which is, as we just said, a little bit, it's low, right? And then they make the profit. Well, what if I cut out the bank and teach my clients to invest right into the global economy and get that return for themselves? So we want people to understand the rule of 72 because it is about compound interest. It is about making that money grow for them and their benefit, not for the bank's benefit.
Boy, that's so true. Well, when we come back from this break, we're going to ask you to address the dilemma. What if I have debt like credit cards at 25%? Should I be saving the money still like in mutual funds, or should I be paying off the credit cards first, or how do you balance that idea out? We'll get back to Kim on that question when we come right back. Hi, it's Peter from the set of The Third Chair. I just want to put in a good word for my good friend and owner of 9 Round Kickboxing in Colorado Springs, Melissa Lance. Her studios provide a phenomenal workout in 30 minutes. I know I've benefited from it over the last 2 years. I've lost over 30 pounds and really appreciate the encouragement, the excitement, the expertise of the trainers. It's a great workout. I encourage you to check it out. That's 9 Round Kickboxing in Colorado Springs. Welcome back to The Third Chair. I'm Peter. This is Doug. We're your co-hosts. We have the pleasure of having Kim Welton from the Welton Financial Group being beamed in from Arizona. And Kim is also an entrepreneur in her own right. And when we left off, we threw a question to you. What do people do? I've got $10,000 of credit card debt at 25%, and I have the chance to put $200 away in a mutual fund. How do I reconcile that position? What's the best thing to do?
The best thing that they can do is call me, and we'll sit down and we will review, because there's not one cookie cutter solution.
Uh-huh.
It depends on their income, it depends on their age, it depends on their goals. There's a number of things that, frankly, if I sit down with a client and can put that into our software system based on an algorithm, it's going to give me the best strategy for them. So what I have for you, Peter, I won't be able to give to Doug. It will be based on it'll be, again, very different for each individual client.
Do you routinely recommend totally tax-free investments like municipal bonds or United States savings bonds?
Honestly, I would have to say that it again depends on the client and their level of comfort when it comes to investing. Some clients want to be very aggressive, some want to be very conservative. So it would depend on the individual client and their overall goals, in addition to their actual expected retirement date, which then I can kind of take a look at and put together or come up with a strategy that's going to identify their financial independence number for them.
So it sounds like you individualize case by case strongly.
100%. I would be doing a disservice to anyone to slap on a response.
The movie The Big Short that talked about the financial housing bubble in 2007, 2008. I understand you use that for training at your company. Why is that, and what's the big lessons that you hope people learn from that?
History leaves clues. And we went through the Great Recession. Some of us remember that very, very well. But what does it mean? Why did it happen? Can it happen again? What are some clues that we can identify to make sure that we have a level of comfort in the market? What is happening? We are looking at the housing prices right now increase exponentially.
Crazy.
I mean, and within the next month to month, a lot of people get very concerned by that. Is it the right time to sell my home, refi my home, pull some cash out? And so I'm not telling people to watch that movie to become afraid. I'm telling people watch that movie to become educated. Because again, history leaves clues. A second movie is called Too Big to Fail. Same concept, same issues. It's more from a political standpoint. But once again, homeowners look at their houses as an asset for them, when realistically, if they have a mortgage, that home is an asset for the bank. So what does that mean? There's a lot of creative lending out there. Does it really fit this family's needs for the amount of years that they're going to need, or they're going to be paying a mortgage on this home? So I tell people, educate yourselves. Again, it's not to make them concerned or scare them, but they should have a level of understanding, because what could keep that from happening again? Am I saying it's going to? No. Am I saying it's not? No. What I'm saying is become aware with the market.
So one last thing. So I assume your company is still taking new clients. So how do people contact you both in Colorado and in Arizona?
Great question. We have a corporate website. Our corporate website is www.primerica, PRIMERICA /Tom Welton. That's our corporate website. You can find us. There's contact information on there. It goes to our office and our office manager. So anybody who uses that to contact us, they will get a hold of us. I also have a personal cell phone that when some of those calls come through, they'll make it to my personal cell phone as well. And my email address is simply kimwelton@gmail.com, and it's KYMWELTON@gmail.com. In addition, Peter, there is a link on our corporate website. It's called Broker Check. It's a FINRA broker check, where anybody who wants to validate who we are, what we do, and the services that we provide, they can click on that broker check and see, every license that we hold, every certificate that we have. My husband is the actual broker on file because there's some legal stuff there. He's also the actual financial advisor with a Series 65 license.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
So we're very lucky because this young lady has agreed to come on our show next week also.
All right. Yes, we're going to have Kim back next because we're just warming up on the questions. And so thank you, and we'll see you all next week. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Good night from 2 Men and a Duck Entertainment.
This has been The Third Chair. Want to be a guest? Want to sponsor our show? Send us an email. Please subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media.